Hi, what I want to do here is just kind of give you a couple tricks and tips for viewing the discussion board in a little bit easier way. I know I described them in an email, but it's probably just better if I show you how I could see this. And as you see the screen here, I actually have a dummy account as a student, so this is what you would see, and it's not going to have all the bells and whistles that the instructor has. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the discussion board, and I'm going to look at last week's discussion. So I see there that I've got a lot to read, and so there's a couple ways I can go about doing this. First and foremost, let me point out a couple things before we get into the actual reading collection. If I click on one of these, one thing you can do is you can subscribe to the thread. And I know I mentioned this, but here's the button that you click. If I click on that, what that'll do is that'll let me know that somebody's posted to this particular thread. And so if you post something and somebody else responds, you'll get an email notifying you that somebody's responded to that. So I can subscribe, and notice there it just changes to unsubscribe. So if I'm bored and don't want to hear any more subscription or hear any more emails about it, I just turn it off. So that's thing number one. The second thing, and I know some people have had problems with this format, is just this whole concept of having the list up here and having only one of the quotes here, and then having to click around and read them this way, or go to the next thread, which you can do up here. And that becomes difficult to do. So I'm going to show you a couple different ways you can gather or collect all the posts so you can read them in a more fluid way. So I'm going to go back to the form itself. And one thing you can do, and you may like this, I'm trying not to influence your opinion here, but notice here you have this thing called list view, and that list, these are all 6 threads for the for this forum, and if I click on one, it'll show them all there. The other thing you can do is list it as a tree view, and what this will do is it takes all the threads, and then you've got this little expand button, so I can see everything that people have been doing in this particular forum without having to click on individual threads. The other thing you can do if you want to see what everybody's written about everything in this forum, you can hit the expand all button, and this lists all 100-odd posts. If you click on one of these, it goes back to the more generic viewpoint there. Again, I don't think it's that great, but it is an option if you find that better for you. So let's go back to list view. The other thing you can do, and this is what I think most of you would find beneficial in terms of reading and keeping up on stuff, is the collect feature. So what I want to do is I want to see all 12 posts. I want to be able to read and reply them without having to click around so much. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this particular thread, and I'm going to click on the term collect. And when I do that, guess what? All of them show up. And I can read them all without having to click all over the place, do anything like that. I can sort them by the order, date of last post. I can do ascending or descending, so I can have the last one first or the first one last. And when I'm done reading them, I can just mark all of them and mark as read. So just something to consider in terms of trying to view these a little bit in a more efficient way. Blackboard sometimes has its opinion on what is the best way to do it, which may not be the best way that you feel is good for reading these. So again, just to kind of recap here, you can look at things in a list or tree. You can subscribe or unsubscribe to threads, and what I think most of you will do is probably want to click on a particular thread and collect all the responses in the thread and show them in some sort of chronological order, either reverse or forward. And the other thing is, please note that you can, from this viewing, you can actually click reply to this particular post in there. You don't have to go back and look at the old way to throw in your comments. Okay? Hope this helps. Take care.